Hello, and sorry for the delay. It's Thanksgiving here in Canada, and I've managed to get the days mixed up. I thought Sunday was Saturday until quite late Sunday, and then at that point in time, I couldn't see doing a video without sort of rushing it. So instead, you get the video today! Yay! Also, happy Thanksgiving! Yay! Okay, so we're getting in now to Chamber of Secrets, and we're still sort of at the start. We haven't hit Hogwarts yet. And this video is looking at two chapters, that is Dobby's Warning and the Burrow. What happens here is that you get both at the same time an exploration of Harry as a character in two different situations, as well as a comparison of this idea of doing what is necessary. So let's start with talking about Harry as a character. Because what I find immensely interesting in this set of chapters particularly, and really looking at Dobby and Harry's interactions, the fact that Harry treats Dobby as an equal. Because you have probably heard this saying before. Do not judge a man on how he treats his equals, but judge him how he treats his inferiors. The other way that the saying's been going around is, if a person is nice to you, but not nice to the serving person at your table, they are not a good person. The idea is, if you're only nice to people that you see as equal to yourself, or of use to yourself, or as relating to yourself, then you're not a good person if you're then degrading to those that you see as beneath you, or others would see as beneath you. Because the thing is, Harry probably doesn't see Dobby as beneath him. He doesn't know the history of house elves, and he doesn't know how all of this works. He just knows that there's this odd creature on his bed who starts wailing and weeping when Harry's nice to him. Well, Harry's always been treated poorly, so of course he wants to treat everyone nicely. He knows what it feels like to not be treated nicely. So, from the outside looking in, Harry is really showing the fact that he's... If any of us are going to have, like, if I'm supporting anyone in this, it's going to be Harry. Because we're going to see that this question of house elves is actually very tricky. Because it's not just the bad guys that don't treat them nicely. Serious, I'm looking at you. So even the ones who you think are good guys aren't being nice to these creatures. But Harry doesn't know they're powerful. He doesn't know they're subservient. He just knows that there's this creature in his room who hasn't been treated well. And Harry wants to try and help him. I mean, legitimately he says, is there anything I can do for you? And when he finds out that there's going to be a plot at school, he wants information. He wants to figure out what's going on so he can help stop it, delay it, something like that. And Dobby's trying so hard because he's got like this 1,000-yard stare going when it's just like, is it you-know-who? Does he have a brother? And he's just staring like, come on, you can get this. And eventually he does. Eventually Harry gets it. So the two of them are actually people who have been very low on the totem pole, one way or another, and they're trying to help each other. And really neither of them have a reason to help the other. I mean, Dobby physically has to hurt himself following this to help Harry. And Harry, again, doesn't know this person. Like, if you just walked into your own room one day and there was just a creature sitting on your bed, lot of us wouldn't just be like, oh, hi. Oh, you're under the rule of a evil family. Okay, is there anything? You'd be like, what the hell are you doing in my room? Like, get out. I'm calling the police. Like, Harry's actually very accepting in this moment, and Dobby's accepting too. And I think the reason for it, and I'm going to look this up, because I found this bit utterly, almost, it encompasses exactly why these two people are willing to help each other. Harry Potter asks if he can help Dobby. Dobby has heard of your greatness, sir, but not of your goodness. Dobby never knew. And that's it. Dobby points out that there is a difference, a very deep core difference between greatness and goodness. And that's sort of the interesting thing, is Harry doesn't see that greatness. Like, right away, he's just like, whatever you've heard about my greatness, it's rubbish. But he recognizes that maybe while he can't be great, he certainly can be good. And that's true for all of us. We can't all do great things, but we can do good things. Even if you can't do great things, you can ask that person who's normally very smiley but looks very sad today if there's something wrong. You can talk to your friends when they're feeling down. You can do good things. And that can add up to greatness. That can very much add up to greatness. We're not all going to be the chosen one like Harry is. But we can all be good. And the fact is, it is Harry's goodness here, and Dobby's goodness as well, that make these characters connect and work together, and we're going to see that throughout the rest of the series, which is utterly fascinating. That goodness, of course, also carries on to the next chapter with the Burrow, because Harry, again, is seeing Ron as his equal. We have a couple moments where Ron's actually apologizing for the house. Like, it's small, there's a lot of people in it, it's noisy, we have to denome the garden. Like, I'm sorry it's not amazing. And Harry utterly thinks it's brilliant. Not once does it go through his head where he's just like, other wizards probably have mansions. In fact, he does recognize that. He recognizes Malfoy probably struts around a mansion. But he doesn't think, oh, Ron's family is poor, and that's bad. Like, no, he's just like, this is awesome. Like, your family's just taken me in, and this house is so cool, and everything's held up by magic, and I love how the fact that you've decorated your room with this team that you super love, and like right away he gets like your Quidditch team, and Ron's like, my Quidditch team, I'm sorry my room's terrible, and he's just like, no, this is freaking awesome, like I love this. Because he's not seeing Ron as anything different from himself. Like, that's just Harry's goodness. Harry's not trying to like one-up them or place them on a scale. Harry's just like, this is awesome, I love your house, your mom's super nice, and your dad's pretty cool, and your sister's a little shy, but maybe that's just girls. Like, don't forget, he's also 12. He's not really just like, in the social and economic things, you're very poor, and I won't get very far in this world if I talk. Like, he's not thinking like a Malfoy. He's thinking, you guys are my friends. Your house is pretty awesome. In truth, I want to live with the Burrow. The second one is sort of a comparison of, okay, so in the first book, we had Harry, Ron, and Hermione were going to the trapdoor, and Neville stepped in and was like, no! And they like stunned him and left. And it became this discussion about doing things that are necessary for the, I'm not going to say greater good. I have some issues with the term greater good, and I will address those when we start actually seeing that phrase used. For there's common good. Rather than the greater good, we're going to go with the common good. The common good for everybody. So for the common good, Harry, Ron, and Hermione have to go and do this, and they stun Neville. But they recognize that, of course, stunning Neville was not a good thing, and they're going to have to make up for that. What you then actually see is two other situations like this. The first being when, of course, Dobby is trying to get Harry to say he won't go to Hogwarts. With taking his letters and then using the hover charm on the pudding. And the thing is that these actions could not necessarily be considered as working towards the common good. Because, in fact, they're actually harming more people than they would be helping. Because Dobby is doing it to protect Harry. However, his actions negatively affect Harry, the Dursleys, the family the Dursleys is having dinner with. Give me a second, I'm going to look this up. The Masons, Ron, Hermione, and Hagrid. The latter three, of course, having all written letters and never received any back from Harry. Even if Harry could let Hedwig it. But within even that small amount of time, we actually have quite a few people negatively affected by this choice of Dobby's, who's actually trying to help this one person and is harming not only that one person, but a set of people around them. And that becomes what's very important in the long run to remember is that no man is an island. Every action you take is going to be attached to all these other people around you. And while you might not necessarily be thinking about that, it's certainly there. Then, of course, we have the stealing of the car to get Harry out. And this one, I am more willing to forgive than Dobby's actions. Less willing to forgive than stunning Neville. Because I'm not sure the Weasley boys, recognize just how much, especially in advance, that their actions, if they are caught, could affect somebody. Molly Weasley certainly tells them, like, your father could have lost his job, he could have been arrested, like, you guys could have crashed, I've been up. So there become a lot of, again, this recognition of the number of people that that action could have harmed. And a lot of times you also need to take that into effect before you take the action, but other times you cannot necessarily recognize that that action is going to harm all of those people until you've already taken the action, which is then why I'm a little more willing to forgive the Weasley boys than Dobby. Dobby recognizes immediately that his actions are affecting Harry and those around him negatively. Like, his word choices point to the fact that he recognizes that he's not doing good things. So he recognizes that Harry's gotten angry about the letters. Harry Potter mustn't be angry. Dobby hoped if Harry Potter thought his friends had forgotten him, Harry Potter would not want to go back to school. Okay, so he's recognized that emotionally this is going to affect Harry. That Harry is liable to think that his friends have forgotten him. Harry wants the letters back, but he won't say he won't go to school. Then Harry Potter leaves Dobby no choice. That says that Dobby recognizes that this is a negative thing he's about to do. And Harry even tells him, he says, no, please, they'll kill me. And even gets a tragic look on his face. While claiming then Dobby must do it, sir, for Harry Potter's own good. Saying something like that with a tragic look on his face, Dobby is aware that what he's doing is not going to affect anybody positively in this situation. other than possibly keeping Harry away from Hogwarts, but he fails to recognize that Harry remaining at the Dursleys is, in a lot of ways, probably worse than the danger he'll face at Hogwarts. The Weasley boys, I think, are concerned that the situation that Harry is in is worse than any problems that they or their father might face in the future. And we're also going to find out later, when they are caught with the flying car, that he faces questioning at work, but he does not lose his job, nor is he arrested. So the boys, their actions, more so than Dobby's, attribute to positive things with the risk of some negative, but in the long run they're aiming at positive actions. But it's really interesting to have these scenes played up against each other, is this question. And it's a very great question, and I don't think this has clarified it. I think this has made it even more confusing, of at what lengths do you go to do good things or get a good outcome? How many bad things can you do and still have the outcome be good? Yeah, it's a very great question. Okay, yeah, this is going to be a fun video to edit because I've been talking for quite some time. So I'm going to call it a video, and I'm going to keep reading, and I hope you guys do, and I'll see you next weekend. That video might be up a little earlier, simply because I do know I have a very busy Sunday, so rather than having a second one later, I'd rather have it earlier. So I'll try and do that. Until then, have a good one.